Welcome to video one of the One Song, 1 Month Challenge. Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com, and today we are going to talk about why your song needs a hook and how we're going to get that hook into our DAW. By way of reminder, this whole video series, which is going to take a whole month long, it's going to be 8 parts. The goal is to get you and me to write, record, mix, and release one song in a month, in a 30-day period. If you can do that, I feel like you can prove to yourself that you can do a whole EP or beyond in a calendar year. It breaks it down into simple, manageable chunks. It's more fun, it's more fresh, and sometimes you need to work when inspiration strikes. We don't have the luxury of blocking out 2 or 3 weeks to work on a record. I understand that. So today, I'm literally starting with a blank slate in front of you. I was literally trying to write a song about 10 minutes ago on my guitar, and I'm ready to start. Now, here is where we're going to start. Songwriting is all about the song, not all the details right now, not all the tweaks of the arrangement, but does your song have a core? The core of any good song is what's called the hook. I don't care if this is rock. I don't care if this is rap. I don't care if it's country. I don't care if it's hip hop. I don't care if it's EDM. Whatever it is, every good song that's ever been written has a hook. Even some of my favorite classical music. One of my favorite pieces is Handel's Messiah, which is an epic piece of music that George Handel wrote hundreds of years ago. And even his pieces within that masterpiece have hooks if you listen to them. The hook is the song. It is the one thing that you remember about the song. It could be a melody, it could be a lyric, it could be a beat, it could be a guitar riff, it could be a keyboard part, it could be anything, a sample. A lot of times in modern music, it's a chord progression that's catchy or simple. Now, today, my song is not completely fleshed out. I don't have the entire melody written. All I have is a chord progression and a beat in my head that I want the song to center around. So it may not be that impressive to you. So this is part of the learning process, is showing you that a hook actually can be very, very simple, but it's what's going to get stuck in your head and is going to probably be replayed a few times throughout the song. Now, I like to start working in my DAW with the hook so that I can make sure that as I build a song around it, the hook is central. So here what I want to do in Pro Tools, and you can follow along in any DAW. I'm going to show you the concepts. I just happen to be working in Pro Tools, but follow along with your DAW. Is I'm going to use my guitar, get the tempo set, make sure I'm hearing things right okay with my guitar and getting it in my head, feeling the vibe of the hook, the chord progression, and then probably bringing in a drum beat as well to play along with and get those recorded and captured. Maybe 4 bars, maybe 8 bars, maybe more, and that's the only goal for today. And from there, we're going to be able to build the song and take it to the next level over the next 4 weeks. So the first thing is to get a track in here from my guitar. So I'm going to do that from the track menu, track, new. I'm going to make a mono audio track. This is really important for people that are brand new. If you're recording mono things like a guitar, a vocal, most instruments are one track. Do a mono track. Don't do a stereo track. This will just save you trouble in the future, and you'll be able to mix things easier. So I start with a mono audio track. Good thing to do is to name it first. So I'm going to write guitar. My guitar is plugged into input 8 in my interface, and I want to make sure that the output is set to the output I need for this video so we can all hear it. I'm going to record, enable the track, and see if I can hear anything on my guitar. All right, looks like things are working great. One little thing I'm going to point out is that the track level was pretty hot. You can see that it was way up here, about 80-90% of the way up the meter. I'm going to turn down my guitar input into Pro Tools so that I'm not actually going to be close to even clipping. This is a good little key for you. Never record tracks that are more than 50 to 75% of the way up the meter. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything by itself, but the cumulative effect of all that really hot tracks will make your mix not sound as good. You'll blow out your converters in the mix bus. It'll save you some trouble if you turn that down. There you go, much better, about 60% of the way up the meter. So at this point, what I'm probably going to do is turn my fader up a little bit so I can hear more of it at a comfortable level for me. But that fader, which is the same as this fader here, is not affecting the actual signal going into Pro Tools or your DAW. It's only affecting what I'm hearing or monitoring. So that's a good tip for you. Now I can hear my guitar. I want to set the tempo of my song. I know how fast I'm going to play it on the guitar, so let me do this in Pro Tools. I'm going to bring up the transport, and if your DAW has a tap to tempo feature, that's really, really handy. In Pro Tools, you can do that. I'm not sure if other DAWs do this, but I've been doing this for about 15 years now. You just literally tap along with yourself. So boom, 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 boom. About 127. I like to keep my tempos in even numbers. I rarely record anything in odd numbers. It doesn't really make any difference, but just by way of habit, I always do an even. So 126 sounds good. And we can test with a click track here. Create click track from the track menu. Yeah, it feels great. So I'm just checking the tempo for myself. Now, you may not like to use click tracks. You may like to just play live however you feel, but just a way of tip, if you're going to be adding other instruments later, if you're going to be overdubbing, which means you record one instrument at a time, which most of us do in the home studio, I highly recommend a click track. You can't go wrong with it because it's going to keep things uniform. It doesn't make you play like a robot. It doesn't make you have a lifeless recording. It gives you a guide, just like all orchestras have a conductor. He's keeping the time and they all follow him. That's what a click track's doing. No one would say that an orchestra is robotic or quantized, but they still have a click track. It's the guy basically conducting. So follow the click as you need to, and you can always take it out later, and you'll have an in time but still musical performance. Now, today I'm going to do something a little bit more fun. I'm going to play to a virtual drum track so I can get a vibe for this song and also get some head start on the drums for this song. So I'm going to delete the click track here, and I'm going to create an instrument track in Pro Tools. I'm going to make it stereo this time because I am going to make a stereo instrument with drums. I'm going to call it drums. Set its output to the right output. And then what I'm going to use today is a fun plugin called Easy Drummer. Easy Drummer has been around forever, and this is Easy Drummer 2. Now, I haven't used Easy Drummer up until this week. So the cool thing is I'm learning it as well, and it's very, very easy, which is great. So what I want to do is basically find a drum beat that will fit the hook of my song, which is probably going to be the chorus of the song, and at least get that one beat. I'm not worried about nuances of the drums. I'm not worried about the rest of the song. I haven't even written the verses or the intro or anything else. I just want to make sure that the hook is in my DAW and is interesting and is catchy and is working. So the way I'm going to do that in Easy Drummer is really, really cool. So they have a new feature where I actually can teach it something I'm hearing in my head, and it will create or find patterns that sound like it. So under the search tab, if you have Easy Drummer, there's a cool feature called Tap to Find. This is way easier than browsing and listening to things or even using a piano roll and trying to make your own beat, because I'm horrible at that kind of stuff. When I click this, it's going to open up a visual of the drum kit, give me a metronome, and allow me to start creating a drum pattern by clicking on the drums. It's also going to quantize it for me, and it's going to basically capture my pattern that I'm creating, and then it's going to allow me to find drum loops that sound like that pattern. Check it out. Just like that, it pulls up a bunch of drum loops that are inside of Easy Drummer 2 that match. This so far is 98%. These first ones are 98% of a match to what I played with that kick drum pattern. So let's take the first one and take a listen to what this pattern is. Very similar, right? So that's a great starting point for me. I don't know if I need open ride or open hi-hat or crashing, or if I need that busy of a beat, but that's the beat I hear in my head. I click that kick drum, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom. That's the rhythm I'm strumming on the guitar. So I'm going to start with that and literally drag that in here. And now I'm good to go if I press play. Now I can control it inside of Pro Tools, and I'm not worried about the full arrangement. I just want to have drums to play along to so that my guitar will be influenced by the drum pattern a little bit. I'll play in time, much like I would with the click track, and what I'll be able to do is get the hook of this song inside of Pro Tools. So let's close this out, take this back to the beginning of my song. I'm also going to turn Easy Drummer down a little bit so it's not overpowering my guitar. Turn my guitar up a little bit. See if I can copy this. Paste it so I got two of them. Head back to the beginning of my song. Let's give it a whirl. Now, it didn't line up perfectly because I need a little bit of a count off, but what I'm going to do is drag this here, drag this to maybe starting on the 3. What I can do with this in Easy Drummer is slide this so it starts on the 3 as well. Take the guitar out of record mode, press play, and see if this lines up. And there you have it, the hook of my song. It's in the tempo that feels right. I can hear it against the drum beat very quickly. This is one thing that's great about virtual drummers is whether you're going to replace these with real drums later or actually take the time to really craft this out into a full arrangement, which is what I'm going to do during this challenge since my drummer is not in town at the moment and it's a little bit faster this way. You can at least get started and hear it against a live performance and get the feel of, does this hook work? So if you had the vocal hook, you could lay it down. If it were more of a sample, if it was more of a keyboard part, you'd want to get that down in your DAW to just listen to it, feel it out, and have it set up so you can know if this song is even worth recording. Because if the hook isn't interesting, even the simple 4-chord progression, and it alternates one chord, that's all it is. This is the simplest song you could ever write, but it's kind of catchy, it's getting stuck in my head, and I'm hearing ideas because I'm hearing this hook. This is going to be the central point of my song. If I can get this in the DAW, I can build off of this, which is what I'm going to do in the next video. I'm going to flesh out the arrangement more, actually get a verse, chorus, bridge section going on, flesh out the drums a little bit more, so we actually have a full arrangement, because the arrangement is the secret to good mixing. It's what takes the hook to the next level. But you can't do a good arrangement, you can't do a great mix or master or release of a song that has no good hook. Otherwise, why even share it? Okay, that's it for this first video in the One Song, 1 Month Challenge. Make sure if you're following along that you get inside your DAW, set the right tempo, use a click or a drum loop or a drum instrument like this, like Easy Drummer, and get your hook in the DAW, even if it's just 8 bars. All I did today was 8 bars. I've got it in. Get that in before we do the next video so that you're ready to move on and follow along. Remember, we're doing an entire song from writing, recording, mixing, and releasing all in 30 days, and I'm glad you're joining me. Subscribe to the videos if you like. Make sure you're on the mailing list as well. Other than that, have a great week. I'll see you on the next video.